podcasting since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network, kingofpodcasts.com.
Sophie Rain, James Fishback, star in the Sunshine Syntax. Coming soon to an OnlyFans near you.
We're all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the king of podcasts.
This is another fun episode. The OnlyFans stuff is going wild. A lot of headlines and the stories going on this week on Depraved and Debaucherous. And just to give you a quick rundown of what we got. First of all, we'll go through all of them, but I want to just go through what the main stories are. First of all, we have Sophie Rain now going back and forth on X with Florida gubernatorial candidate James Fishback, who is seeking to impose and propose a 50% sunshine syntax, which means all OnlyFans creators would be charged 50% taxes on what they make to make up for, I guess, I don't know what it is. But there's that story. Then you have two OnlyFans models getting arrested after landing from a flight into Miami and the Miami International Airport, and two women were arrested for whatever they got in that. And then there's the part about OnlyFans models and taking advantage of visas. There's passports. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So passport, OnlyFans, sunshine syntaxes, and of airport arrests. There's a whole lot more to it, but we're going to get into all that tonight. And of course, you find this, all of the other good stuff that goes on with this program. It's kingofpodcasts.com, kingofpodcasts.com. I know all of you out there, you really do appreciate when I get into the OnlyFans stuff. And amazing enough, we're not even going to talk about Bonnie Blue or Lily Phillips. Lily Phillips is she's baptized. She's Christianity. Bonnie Blue was last year's news. Bali, Cancun, whatever. There's that. Oh, we haven't even talked about Piper Rockelle yet, who is the newest 18-year-old to make $1 million off of OnlyFans. We'll get into that too. There's a lot to get into tonight. So let's get ourselves started. So the first part I'm going to get to is Piper Rockelle is an 18-year-old YouTube star. And in the first 24 hours, she's already made between $2.9 and $3 million. So we're going to get into all that here real quick. It's, a lot of crap. The first off is Piper Rockelle. There's a lot of interest in her and who she's gotten together with, who she's hooked up with. Do we need to give a little bit of a background on who she is? I guess we could. But one of the things that helped out to give us some background on Piper, if you didn't know who she is already, she got a full-length story done about her, a whole expose done about her on Rolling Stone. Crazy. She's a squad star, so she's part of Sophie Rain's Bump House, right? A Bop House, excuse me. And subject of Netflix's Bad Influence. So she's the latest 18-year-old after Lil Tay, the rapper and singer, made $1 million in an hour after joining days after her 18th birthday. And I've been hearing people out there that are probably disputing the fact that, this $1 million thing might not even be true, but there's the whole point of look at the 18-year-old breakout and the barely legal kind of feel to it, where when somebody gets 18, here we go, everybody's interested. And it's perverted and stuff. And of course, it's depraved and debaucherous. It's just why I talk about it on this program. So she has lived most of her life online. She started when she was 8 years old, was a breakout kid influencer, pulling hundreds of thousands of dollars a month from YouTube revenue. And then she was securing brand deals, commanding audiences of millions, being with an influencer collective called The Squad, making YouTube videos featuring viral pranks and scripted skits. Oh, but she's now Bop House. That's what I'm saying. Okay, get myself all squared away here. Before you go after me about it, I'm just making the point. So then there was also an issue where a group of former Squad members sued Piper's mother, so she's like a stage mom, for emotional, verbal, physical, and at times sexual abuse. And her mom, Tiffany Smith, denied allegations, but the lawsuit was settled for $1.85 million. And she was part of a blockbuster documentary from Netflix called Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing in 2025, tracing the origins of her fame and the claims behind the lawsuit. And Piper says that people don't want to work with me. People want nothing to do with me. She told Teen Vogue that becoming a legal adult would be the shift that she was be waiting for in her life after all the controversy, that brands would want to work with her again. Maybe her acting or singing career will get off the ground. And she became friends with some of the OnlyFans' most prominent creators and began teasing her fans about joining the ranks. Now, she was asked about the fact that could you consider her a sex worker? She says, you can call me what you want to. You can say I'm a sex worker. You can say whatever you want. You can say I'm a sellout, that I sell my body. I don't give a shit. I really don't. And she talked about how her choice, whether or not she considers herself a sex worker, and how the money she's made is helping her chase her dreams of opening a cat rescue and building her own house. Quite lucid dreams. She says she's adamant she's made the right decision, feels more like herself than she ever has. And I've tried to be that sweet little girl who's just damsel into distress and is doing whatever she's told. It's not who I want to be. Now, she's been teasing OnlyFans content for months now, leading up to it. And they go through the run about what she's doing in terms of what she's trying to go ahead and work on and become. And she says the first money that she was making, that she was able to buy a car for her grandmother, and that she's saving up so she can get the cat rescue facility and build a house. And when asked about being a sex worker, possibly, that word is a very bad sticker to put on someone, but unfortunately sex is inevitable. It's human nature. Looking at others has been around forever, and it's not a new thing that has just started. It's just created for a reason. It gives people jobs and people watch it. It's terrible, but that's the world we live in. But see, Piper, we don't have to go ahead and feel bad about it. In the world of this hyper publicized and emphasized social media that we have, yeah, everything gets up to 11 and everybody gets upset and worked out of shape, whoever they are. But then we get away from the whole idea of that we have people that are, we used to be very sexually, we had a lot of sexual proclivities. We used to be a little more upfront about it. Prostitution, sex work, porn used to be much more prominent, but now it's gone so much underground. I mean, they're still talking about it, but OnlyFans is like the real brand now. It's like OnlyFans has become the new Playboy of the day. We had Playboy, Penthouse, Hustler. Now we have OnlyFans. Pornhub was in that space beforehand. Now OnlyFans, it's dominating the space. That's anything adult related. And that's it. And I think OnlyFans and the folks that own it, they need to go and live with the reality and come to grips with the reality that they are what Playboy was, what Penthouse and Hustler were, what Pornhub was. That's just what it is today. Just because they're not one of some of those other sites that are out there that do exclusively adult content, fetish content, whatever there is, hardcore content, OnlyFans gives the same kind of vibe, same kind of feel. Trust me, if anybody saw OnlyFans on a girl on a shirt and they're wearing like one of those shirts, like, I don't know, free ones or Playboy, whatever, you put that on a shirt, a white t-shirt, and see what kind of attention a girl's going to get. If she's wearing that, people are going to associate that with something salacious, dirty, depraved, debaucherous. That's what it is. And now they think about it more than ever for young women. Young, nubile, beautiful women that are out there more than ever. It's just what it is. OnlyFans could try to do what they want to try to go and make that come out differently, but it's not going to happen that way. It's not possible. And she's asked about how long she thinks she'll be on OnlyFans. Is it long term, or is she looking to make a certain amount of money? And says, I'll know when the time is right within me and financially. Yeah, she's going to probably do something for whatever and then move on to something else. It's like every woman's going to probably think as an entrepreneur, use your body to get what you want, to make something of it, and then go on and hopefully, make something else of yourself outside of it. That's what it comes down to. Now, she says she'd also like to go and get into acting and singing. She says, I've gotten very close to having cute little things to do, but then something comes up about my past and what people have said about me, and it takes away from me, always. I've always been like, you know what? Nobody's going to do what I want to do. Nobody's going to do it for me. I have to do it for myself. I've never had a good reputation. It would have been one thing if I was this sweet little peach girl who never did anything wrong in her whole life, but I wasn't. If you look at my name, it's always been something terrible. Why not just fucking add on to it? You know what I mean? I never had a peach clean slate. No matter how hard I tried, I don't really want it. It's boring. So she's into that. Now, she does definitely give a girl next door vibe. Definitely like girl next door is what she gives off. But she doesn't want to be looked at or perceived that way. But in a way, she is kind of gives that look. But she continues to do things now as she's turned 18 to bring herself closer into being much more adult, trying to break the shell of whatever kind of kid influencing kind of thing that she had beforehand. So she doesn't want to be looked at that way, doesn't want to be perceived that way. She's obviously been growing up and now she wants to be a woman and she's going to go into it full speed ahead. And that's it. That's what she wants. So it's one of those things about that. And it's like, to know that she's already gone through so much controversy and lawsuits and all and stage mom and all this other crap, it sucks. 2 30-something OnlyFans models were caught up in arrests, charged with trespassing on property after being given a warning. Online record showed. Well, I can't wait for the body cam videos for this to come up. But we did get some video out there of these 2 models being picked up in MIA. They look like model citizens. Just wow. The names are Sania Blanchard, age 34, and Jordan Danne Lantry, 31. And they were arrested for an alleged disturbance on a plane. And the arrest report says that 2 were getting off an American Airlines plane and they were both intoxicated, refusing to get off the plane. They reportedly had sat in the wrong seats and refused to leave despite being warned by the airline. And only in Dade, which is a great X feed to follow if you want to watch stuff in Miami, the 2 women were seen escorted off a plane by authorities, handcuffed. And at one point, one of them was seen doing the splits. OnlyFans models. Airport arrests. Only in Miami, of course. That some girls already had to go through this kind of stuff already, which is just a bigger deal. I mean, sure, she's monetized from it, but how much is that really worth? And how much is it for women that are really willing to go as far as they can to make the kind of money that they want? So now the American dream that they talk about now is the fact that influencers and OnlyFans models are now requesting O1 visas. So they want the visa to be set for individuals with extraordinary ability. So the idea is that content creators and influencers are increasingly applying for O1 work visas. And that the number of O1 visas have increased by 50% from 2014 to 2024, according to Financial Times. Now, these visas allow non-immigrants to work temporarily in the U.S. And the O1 category includes the O1A. That's designated for individuals with extraordinary ability in the sciences, education, business, or athletics, or in the O1B, those reserved for with extraordinary ability or achievement. And that some influencers are getting success in obtaining or trying to covet these visas. And they talked about various creators that have been able to go and learn how to go and do this. A Canadian content creator, 25 years old, named Julia Ain. She now has 1.3 million followers, and she was able to get an O1 visa, and she posts videos across TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, X, Snapchat, and she's now launching, after getting the visa, she's launching, she's on Fanfics, a safe for work subscription-based platform for influencers to monetize their content. And the company sponsored her application. She now makes 5 figures a month on Fanfics, be able to put her content out there. So OnlyFans models now getting into this. And there are other people that are from other countries that are also making their way to go ahead and work through and do more, like go into the US or, and find their way in. So that's another new thing that's coming out there. You got chess players that are getting in here that I think people would feel a little more worthy of the visas as opposed to some girl with big boobs or, cute face. I don't know, but that's what they're doing more of anything else. Now we should start looking at the kind of money that the OnlyFans models are making. Now I know we went through some of that information in terms of the very top OnlyFans creators that are out there. The Bonnie Blues, Lily Phillips, Annie Knights that we've seen pretty prominently in the headlines when it comes to OnlyFans or former OnlyFans models. or creators, we can call them. So there's information about OnlyFans that came out for the year 2025 and their statistics that they have over 305 million users worldwide and 1 billion monthly website visits. Now, the platform's creator base includes more than 4 million active content creators, and creator accounts grew in 2023 with almost 1 million new creators joining the platform. Most creators earn around $150 to $180 monthly. The top 1% rake in nearly 1/3 of all platform revenue. From a study of 1 million fans, it revealed that about 100 users of all those people that are on the platform generated 20.2% of all revenue, or $412,823. Almost 84% of users access OnlyFans through mobile devices. The United States is the largest market for OnlyFans, with the United Kingdom and Mexico following behind. And users often head to Google and Twitter after visiting OnlyFans, suggesting these platforms complement their OnlyFans experience. And among where creators are, American creators lead the pack with 1.1 million content producers, almost a quarter of all OnlyFans creators worldwide. Canada, 175,000. Then you look at Australia, United Kingdom, and Denmark also in that mix with their own level of creators. The top tier creators right now make between $15,000 and $80,000 monthly. Mid-tier creators, $1,000 to $5,000 monthly. And there are struggling creators where it's a big part of that. Successful creators make more money through personal messages than the subscriptions. Chat messages make up for 70% of top earners' income. Subscription fees only account for 4% of what they make. So all these creators have to go ahead and engage with their audience, whether they like to or not. And the difference between the elite OnlyFans creators and average creators is huge. The 0.1% of all creators earn 76% of all platform income, averaging $146,881 monthly. And creators in the top 1% make, even creators in the top 1%, not the 0.1%, the 1% will make about $34,000 monthly. Between 1% and 5% of the top creators, they make about $8,000 monthly. Hey, I'll take that money. That's a lot more than I'm making. And below the top 5, probably making $24 a month. So there's not that many people that are making that much money at the very top. Fascinating. And then when it comes to gender for the earnings, female creators make 78% more than male creators. And most subscribers are men looking for female content. You know, we're all just depraved and debaucherous, right? Female creators make $1,000 to $3,000 monthly. Male creators make $1,500 to $7,500 monthly. And 30% of the creators in the top 1% earnings bracket are male. And then of the male creators, you look at those that are LGBTQ plus content or fitness influencers, they're the most prominent male creators. So picking the right niche for men, it's in those areas. Meanwhile, women can do whatever they want. And of course, OnlyFans takes 20% of all creator earnings, and creators earned $5.8 billion in payouts during 2024, 9% for the previous year. We don't know what 2025 is yet. We're going to get that probably pretty soon. But let's just probably say it's more than $6 million. And Sophie Rain is one of the top 10 creators, topping the 2025 earnings chart at $43 million annually. Bella Thorne, $37.3 million. And the others on the top performers list, Belle Delphine, who does the Asigo or all that kind of stuff, whatever, she's $34 million annually. Bad Baby, $34 million yearly with minimal platform activity. Black China comes in at $20 million. Cardi B, $46.9 million with mostly behind-the-scenes content. Mia Khalifa brings in $6.5 million monthly with diverse content. Tyga, the rapper, $7.69 million. And Tana Mongeau makes $3 million using a free subscription model. Like I said, direct messages make up 70% of the income. So let's talk about Sophie Rain. Get back to her, because she unfortunately got herself into a story that she didn't necessarily have to be a part of. I mean, she was called out by a upcoming state of Florida gubernatorial candidate running for governor of state of Florida in 2026. James Fishback is a candidate for governor of Florida. Ron DeSantis here is finishing up his second term as governor. And now he proposes a sin tax of 50% for OnlyFans creators in Florida to be used to fund the education system. So here's James Fishback and what he said.
I want to break some news here with you, Joel. I hadn't planned to do this, but allow me to do it,
Go.
Which is that as Florida governor in year one, I will push for the first of its kind OnlyFans sin tax. If you are a so-called OnlyFans creator in Florida, you are going to pay 50% to the state on whatever you so-called earn via that online degeneracy platform. And that money will be used to fund our education system, will be used to fund the crisis pregnancy centers, will be used to fund the first of its kind mental health czar for men in particular, because men have been told for far too long that they are guilty of masculinity, that they are guilty of all of society's ills. I'm not going to stand for that slanderous lie.
We're going to leave, there's more to it, but I'm going to just leave it at that. He did make mention of Sophie Rain, of course, the star we've been already talking about, and used her as an example of one of the OnlyFans creators that has to pay taxes, this 50% sunshine sin tax. But what's more important, listen, all of you that are politicos, you want to go ahead and talk about this thing and what it means, and very religious and uptight and sanctimonious, that's good for you. But what I care about is that's a big cut that's going to take. And why is it targeting specifically OnlyFans creators is an interesting story. I mean, you could have just not done the thing where, Florida went ahead and took it where you're not even allowed to go ahead and go to certain adult websites. And what you could have done is whatever kind of income that those websites were making, you could have just taxed them. Like, go after the platforms. Why are you going after the creators? That's the part where I don't understand where James Fishback is coming from. Okay, you want to tax them. Fine. So you don't want a self-employee tax, but the 50% tax, that sounds ludicrous. It doesn't sound like anything that could get passed in the first place. Let's just make that clear. I don't think it's possible. But the other thing, too, is that if you're going to go and tax anything, go tax the platforms. Go after them, and whatever money they're making in that's going into your area that you can find the IP addresses for, go after them. Why are you going to go after the creators for? It's not their fault. They got the platform. Sophie Rain, I'm not going to blame about this because of the fact that she has OnlyFans. Okay, I wouldn't tax her if she went ahead and got on a centerfold to Playboy, Penthouse, or whatever, or she was doing, hardcore adult content. I could care less. Or if there was Maxim or FHM or stuff that was still out there running today. Why are you going to penalize the creator? Go after the platforms. That's who you go after. But young Sophie Rain, she took the bait. She decided to go ahead and call out on it. And now her and James Fishback are at each other back and forth. Maybe not necessarily what you think. Oh, by the way, countries by OnlyFans spending, let me give you this other stat I've also found out. United States, we spent $2.6 billion on OnlyFans. And the closest to that is United Kingdom at $531 million. Canada, $355, Italy, $355, and number 5, Mexico, $291 million. I want to give a campaign out to all the guys out there. 2026 should be a year that we start pulling away our simping, our financing of girls that are not going to give us any proper attention to us. And I don't care about the direct messages on OnlyFans. We got to get ourselves back to real life dating some way, somehow. But trying to satisfy or pacify our loneliness by going online, I'm guilty of this, okay? And I'm trying to purge it, just like all of you. So I also want you to follow along and see if you can do it. Get yourself away from trying to find, adulation or simping towards these females that are not going to give you attention online. Get rid of the online simping altogether. Let's just swear it off. Go back to real life. We got to get back to that. It's getting to be too much out there, and it's too easy to get caught up in it. Trust me, I understand that. But we got to do something more about it. Now, then we get Sophie Rain responding back to this tax. And she says, quote, Imposing a tax on OnlyFans girls is quite possibly the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And then James Fishback comes back in and says this: Sophie's pissed at me because she's about to pay the state of Florida $42 million in taxes, which I'll proudly use to increase teacher pay and improve school lunches. I refuse to let smart and capable young women like Sophie Rain be exploited by OnlyFans and its rapacious owners. But why attack her? That's the part I don't understand. But hey, it's working for him. And obviously, if people are going to get the attention of it, we're getting it right now. So Newsweek put out a story about it. And James Fishback goes on to say this: Florida governor, I will not let young, smart, and capable women be exploited by OnlyFans. Our teachers and students deserve better with the tax money he's trying to make for this sunshine sin tax. Then here we go, more of these two. And Sophie Rain comes back and says, sounds like you subscribed and got buyer's remorse after dropping your annual salary on an OF girl. And then Fishback comes back and says, Sophie, pay your taxes or quit OnlyFans. Those are your choices. I'm running for Florida governor to stop smart and capable women from like you being exploited by that disgusting platform. He knows us too well or something like that. But anyway, Sophie Rain now comes back out and responds to this in a video. Here's what she says.
Never in my whole life did I think that I would wake up and see a Florida politician trying to start beef with me for clout.
Well, wait a minute. He's not a Florida politician yet. I don't know if he's what he is yet. I got to look back and look. I don't think he is in politics at the moment. He's an American investor, hedge fund manager beforehand, CEO of Azoria Partners, an investment firm. And now he's running for the gubernatorial office in Florida, in the state of Florida. That's all we got. So he's just a business guy thinking he can go and do this route here. Back to Sophie Rain.
So he's proposing a sin tax on bops where we would have to pay 50% to the state on top of the 37 I already paid to the government. And I would be more than happy to pay that if multi-billion-dollar corporations were also being properly taxed.
Okay, now, I mean, that's nice to go and say. It's a very ambassadorial political kind of statement to make. I don't think that's good for her to go and start getting to this political thing with her. This is going to alienate her audience. I sincerely doubt that this gubernatorial candidate is doing that. You understand? He has specifically just put out a proposal. And that's fine. He has a proposal. And it might work for the religious right for those that are above the I-4 corridor in North and Central Florida. Great. The same ones that didn't want to vote so much for marijuana or cannabis. Fine. But the thing is that you took the bait, sweetheart. And now this is actually going to hurt you. I understand he used your name, decided to use you as a ploy to get his sin tax proposal out there, to get the attention that he kind of figured you were going to take the bait for. What you did was you let the Pandora's box open up, because now, sure, he can't make that tax possible, but you're going to start getting other politicians now that are politicians that actually could have a way to get a bill presented in Congress or in the state of Florida, whatever there is, legislatures all around the country, state by state. They could try to impose their own taxes on OnlyFans creators. And yes, I get it. He called you out by name. And now he has a chance to come back at you back and forth. And now you've just amplified this guy out of nowhere. I'm sure he's got a whole lot of donations coming his way, but you just gave him publicity. And what did it do for you? He's trying to take away from your income. Why are you giving him free publicity? You work so hard on your own publicity. I see your press releases all the time. They come into my emails. Why even go ahead and play into this? Amy Trenton with Sophie Rain's PR firm. Get on top of this. This is a spin you got to get on here. She should be making statements. If she wants to make a statement, she should make a statement aside from that. Or she's got so much clout. Why is she saying anything? She should contact OnlyFans to make a statement. OnlyFans should have responded to James Fishback. And then they could have said, hey, we don't feel like this. We have content creators that are fitness and health and all these other things. And we've been changing the way we have if we have anybody that is doing, content that's not above and beyond the terms and conditions, we kick them off, i.e. Bonnie Blue. So OnlyFans should have responded. Sophie Rain, you made a mistake, and it might cost you. Not from what James Fishback is doing, but because you're getting yourself into a political statement for what? Now you're going to alienate some of your audience. A lot of guys that they'll hear you talking like this, like you're some kind of, whatever. They might think you're woke and like, okay, peace out. We don't care how pretty she is. She's talking all this stuff and like she's talking down, whatever they might think, and they'll move on. And you'll lose some of the subscribers or those that are paying direct messages to talk to you. And by the way, those direct messages that you're doing with those folks, do you want them? Do you want them to go ahead and start talking to you about this? Is that something that you want? I understand. Listen, you're in Florida. You're a taxpayer here. You live in the Bop House. We get it. But for Florida, that's the thing where can he even do it for a state basis? It's never been done before. There's no precedent to it. You could have just taken this very well to the state Supreme Court if it even happens. But you didn't need to be the person talking out. You could have just let it go. Like if your name was called out, okay, respond. But that's not what happened here. You jumped in here, and that's a bit of a maturity issue. You should have known better. Somebody should have been there with you to say, hey, don't listen to him. Let him talk. And if you want to say something, let the platform do it for you. That's not your problem. Somebody should have told her that. Back to Sophie Rain.
But surprise, they're not. I never usually get into politics, but there are clearly better ways to raise funds from actual corrupt businesses in our country. I think that people also fail to realize that there are so many creators on this platform that do this job because they're struggling. So to tax them like that when they're literally doing it just to support their families is sad. I would much rather continue donating directly to people in need because we all really know where our tax dollars go.
And listen, I don't disagree with what she says. That's not what I'm saying either. But this is not her fight. This is not a fight that would have probably even made it to this legislature for a vote. But now that you allowed this to go ahead and to trigger you, it triggered you. You just responded in a political way to alienate a part of your audience. And now somebody's going to start listening and paying attention to this guy because he did this. He was able to go and get you triggered. That's a big deal. And then the next thing is, what other state legislator that might be running for election somewhere or is already an elected official, they catch wind of this, they decide to go and put something like this out there too. Okay? What did happen was with the state of Florida, we have now adult content that is restricted here, where you have to go through a verification system to show your age and verify your age if you want to get onto a particular site. Those things are happening now all the time. But if you think you're going to get on here and you're going to try to win some war over this guy, this investment banker, it's not going to work. Or investor, investor, hedge fund owner, whatever. But that's another thing that happens here. And then they go on and more. And here we go. James Fishback goes on and talks about what he does here. He put out a campaign ad about it. Sophie, look what you did. You gave him a campaign ad.
And so if I'm governor of Florida, if I'm elected on August 18th, 2026, as the Republican candidate to succeed Ron DeSantis, we're passing a 50% tax on all OnlyFans income. And guess what? For Sophie Rain, who is a proud resident of Florida, that means she's going to have to pay $42 million to the state of Florida, which I'm going to use for two purposes. We're going to increase public school teacher pay, and we're going to improve school lunches, something that Michelle Obama promised and never got around to.
For James Fishback, was the easiest way to go ahead and get the attention for his bill, his proposal bill, is to get Sophie Rain to get triggered by it. She took the bait, and she didn't have to. I mean, if somebody was going to go and respond back, she didn't need to go and say anything. She could have just left it alone. I don't think it would have hurt her at all. Because of this, Sophie Rain is starting to get into a campaign to go start defending OnlyFans, because we talked about the work visas as she just before. And she says that work visas are being issued for OF models. Meanwhile, a Florida candidate is going to start taxing us on top of the federal tax we pay at the same time. Sounds ironic to me. And then James Fishback says, keep running your mouth. It's about to be 100%. And guess what? Conservative sites now are already picking this up. Sophie, I understand he called you out. He said your name. But I understand you felt compelled to get into this. You didn't have to. And it's unfortunate, but here we go. You did it. And even I have to say this when it comes to James Fishback. Okay. I don't know. I mean, is that somebody, that's somebody I have to look at what he's going to be doing right now, because unfortunately I'm a Florida voter. So I have to go and deal with this guy looking to go and become the next governor of Florida. And, we'll see how that all works out. But to think that he could go to this depth right now to try to catch the attention of Sophie Rain just so he could use it for political points. And look what he did. Created a campaign ad. That campaign ad is quite depraved and debaucherous.